Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers versus Houston Texans Week 14 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some variation between different variables. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So, starting with this matchup between the Texans and the 49ers. When you look at the NFL stat basic comparison data, and basic comparison is the offense, the defense, and the special teams. It's basically looking at the main statistics, team statistics of both the offense, the defense, and the special teams, giving an overall score for who is more likely to have success based on those kind of parameters. And when it comes to this game between the Texans and the 49ers, the Texans are slightly favored over the 49ers by about 11 points. So not a huge advantage for the Texans per se, but definitely more than the 49ers have been this year. So let's get into some reasons why that is. So first off, I would, based on the data, the offensive score percentage for the Texans is technically higher than the 49ers. And again, offensive score percentage is just the ability to put points up on offense. So again, the Texans have a slightly better offense when it comes to putting up points. I will say that when you look at the data with the 49ers are better when it comes to not turning the football over. And they're also better in terms of not allowing as many sacks as the Texans have. But more on this kind of later in terms of final judgments. And then, of course, when you look at defensive side of the football, the Texans have the better defense in terms of defensive offensive score percentage, which is basically the ability to prevent points on defense. You of course, have turnover ratio, which also kind of favors the Texans. Sack percentage, which mostly favors the Texans. And, of course, interception ratio that also favors the Texans. So, defensively, the Texans are just killing it across the board. They're not amazing on defense, per se. But compared to the 49ers, they're better. And, of course, when you get to special teams data, punt return yardage favors the Texans. Kick return yardage favors the Texans as well. Defensive punt return yardage, defensive kick return yardage favors the 49ers. Field goal percentage, which, of course, as I tell you guys each week, is the most important special teams metric to pay attention to, that favors the 49ers. And, of course, you have extra point percentage, which also favors the 49ers, and punching average, which favors the Texans. So, special teams-wise, I honestly would give this to the 49ers because of that field goal percentage. Again, the most important special teams number to really pay attention to when it comes to outcomes in games is field goal percentage. And it's a big difference between how the 49ers perform in terms of field goal percentage and how the Texans perform when it comes to that particular area. So definitely something to kind of keep in mind and keep track of because of those particular areas, of the data. And then, of course, we get to some micro matchups, basically down and distance data for various sort of data points. Then with this particular area, we're looking at completion percentage between the Texans offense and the 49ers defense. It's honestly kind of even. Big advantage for the 49ers on third down, though. The 49ers do pretty well in terms of preventing completions on third down. It's just first and second down is where most of their issues result. But I would say that this is actually kind of an even matchup because of first and second down kind of siding with the Texans in that regard. And then, of course, when you get to the 49ers offense versus Texans defense when it comes to completion percentage, and in this particular area, the Texans are favored on first and third down. So, again, I think the Texans defense should have some success in those areas and a little bit more success than the 49ers defense will probably have against the Texans offense when you go back and you look at the data there. And then, of course, when we get to rushing down, so this is the first down conversion rate with the run and various downs and distances. Again, this has nothing to do with yardage. This has everything to do with just the ability to convert with the run in various downs and distances. Basically the efficiency of the rushing game. And when you look at this particular data point, the Texans are favored on second and third down. So I think the Texans will have success rushing the football in this game based on how the data looks right now. Then, of course, you look at the 49ers offense versus the Texans defense, where the Texans are favored on second and third down in terms of their rushing defense. So this is actually one of the strengths of the Texans, is their rushing D in terms of those other kind of crucial downs and distances. But it is something to kind of, I guess, pat yourself on the back of your Texans fan, because it's the one aspect of your defense that actually performs relatively well in terms of those crucial second down and third down situations. Then, of course, you get to passing downs between the Texans offense and the 49ers defense. And this particular area, the Texans are favored on second and third down. So definitely, I think the Texans should have some success passing the football in this game. And then, of course, you get to the 49ers offense versus the Texans defense in terms of passing yards. And this is, again, Texans favored here in terms of those particular aspects. Then you get to sack rate between the Texans offense and the 49ers defense, where the 49ers, first down, second down, those are probably the most important downs to follow in this game. Because the 49ers, most of the sacks that the 49ers get come on first down and second down. And the Texans do not do well in terms of preventing sacks in those situations. So definitely an area where I think there might be a major matchup to watch and pay attention to because of those particular areas. Then we get to sack rate for the 49ers offense versus the Texans defense. And again, another sort of thing showing you that second and third down. Crucial downs. Downs you should not take a sack, and yet the 49ers typically do. So those are kind of the downs and distances to pay attention to as well, to see if the Texans defense can get some momentum and get some big plays. Then we get to interception ratio between the Texans offense and the 49ers defense, where the 49ers are favored on first and second down. Not huge glaring things going on here, but definitely something to kind of pay attention to. And then finally, you get to the 49ers offense versus the Texans defense, where the Texans are favored on first and second down. And I think there should be a sizable success rate because of all those sort of downs and distances there for the Texans. So overall, general impressions of this game, I think it's going to be a Texan victory. I think when you look at the overall aggregate data, it does favor the Texans. But then when you actually look at the micro data, as I just showed you, there's many downs and distances. There's many sort of areas where the Texans are favored in crucial downs and distances over the 49ers. Whether you're talking sacks, interceptions, converting, basically getting first downs or completion percentage. So there's lots of areas on a micro level where I think there's a lot of success that could be mitigated because of some of these issues. But overall, I do think it's a Texans victory. It could become a 49ers victory, don't get me wrong. But I do think that there is enough things in the Texans' favor that I think it could end up being that because of how both these teams have played up to this point. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.